Hello everybody, this is BonOakley and welcome back to Are They Viable, a series where I look at a certain group of weapons for a certain mode to find out which one of them are the most viable in the game, known as Men's Fashion Simulator 2. Today we are at the final episode for the mummered abomination Pyro, as we'll be discussing his melees today and seeing what will help all you pyros out there the most in close combat. So, let's begin. Well, we're off to a good start, aren't we? Let's just say that this isn't a very good choice if you like comboing weapons up, as there aren't any upsides to complement any of your other weapons. Though it's not all bad since it dishes out consistent damage, so when you hit someone for 65 damage, you'll be certain that the next one will do the same amount without worrying about any side effects like the other weapons have. Overall, it's decent, but definitely not the best choice for your loadout. Oh, poor Extinguisher, what did they do to you? While you're still one of the two melee weapons people choose mostly, you haven't been handled well in recent nerfs, have you? While the biggest appeal of this weapon is that it deals critical damage on a burning target, there are way too many downsides added to this. The base damage has been given a minus 33% penalty, which makes it only do 44 damage with normal attacks. It also has no random crits, but that's to be expected honestly. I can also understand the minus 20% attack speed, but I think the minus 75% switch to speed is a bit too much. However, combo with a greaser and a reserve shooter, this penalty isn't that bad. Overall, even with all the downsides, the Extinguisher is still a strong choice for damage output. The HOMEWRECKER is a Pyro's weapon of choice, and it's easy to see why. It can also be used for Pyros when attacking an engineer nest. This is due to its first upside of being able to deal double damage against enemy buildings. This is great considering Pyros aren't very good against sentries normally with their flamethrowers, so this boost in damage is very helpful for them. The other upside for all you Pyros out there is the ability to remove sappers from teammates' buildings. This is especially useful when engineers are either away from their buildings or dead and need to keep their buildings up for defense. The one downside comes with its minus 25% damage against players. However, this isn't too bad considering that it's more of a building destroyer or saver weapon. A great pyro weapon for those offensive pyros or for those who need the extra damage when you're the only one around that one medic that's surrounded by 3 sentries on 2 fort needs assistance. You've all been there, trust me. Another great choice for the Pyro, it's easily one of the main choices among the melees, if not the top choice for Pyro mains due to how they decimated the Extinguisher with nerfs. What makes it special is the fact that the upsides and downsides are only active when the weapon is drawn. So on kill, the user receives 25 health points back, which makes it great for high risk takedowns when you're on low health, as squishier classes like the Scout and Sniper allow you to rack up health points again easier when you're low compared to heavier ones like Soldier and Heavy. Its other upside is the plus 15% faster move speed when active. This makes it great for Pyros who need to get back to the battlefield quicker to save the team from those last minute pushes or captures. Its downside comes out as quite a minimal disadvantage, as it raises the user's damage vulnerability by 20%, but only when active. This comes in play when I said high risk takedowns, as you'll most likely take more damage trying to get healed when using it rather than gain health. Overall though, it's easily one of the more useful weapons in his arsenal. Hey you, are you a strong independent pyro who don't need no heals? Or do you just love using melees in medieval mode? Then the back scratcher is for you. With its strong upside of dealing 25% more damage to enemies, it'll make you one of the most badass mercenaries on the server. That's a whopping 82 damage with a normal hit and a humongous 244 with a crit. That's enough to even make the heavy call for mama. Also, when picking up health, you'll gain 50% extra health, so a small health pack could pack more of a punch and a medium one could basically fill your health up. It obviously comes with a downside, as when receiving health from sources like mediguns or dispensers, it will give you 75% less health. But when you're strong and independent, you shouldn't worry about this one small downside. Damn, I honestly wish this was a viable weapon. It looks so cool, but goddammit, why are you so bad? I bought a genuine professional killstreak one a while back just because. Hopefully it'll be used one day. One day. So, the upside it has that it engulfs the target in flames when hit, and it does 20% less damage as its downside for 52 damage. I mean, I guess it's alright for a quick burst of damage from out of nowhere, but why not use a backburner if you're going to be sneaky? Again, I wish it had better stats, but for now it's pretty useless. I hereby grant you the second Why Do You Exist award, as much as I don't want to. This weapon is one of the reasons I say why bother with the normal fire axe. To put it simply, this weapon is basically a straight upgrade to stock as its only attribute is positive, and that is that all damage done is transferred to all players connected by medic beams. That's right, you could essentially kill a couple of medic duos such as Pyro medic or Demo medic with this. Of course it would be dumb to just run an attack with this, but imagine what you could do with it while ubered. I believe this needs some sort of nerf, like maybe a 15% slower firing speed or damage penalty, but as it stands, it's quite good. Similar to the HOMEWRECKER, the Neon Annihilator is a pretty decent weapon. It has one upside that is straight from the HOMEWRECKER, which is the ability to remove sappers, but in 2 hits and not 1 like the HOMEWRECKER. Its other upside is that it grants critical hits against wet players, which is awfully nice for a class that can't do much while underwater. It obviously comes with a couple downsides, with one being the obvious no random crits outside of the water. The other is that you have a 20% damage penalty against players, which I feel is a little too much, but it still suits the weapon. My favourite part is that it spawned a lovable Pyro shark subclass. It's nice to see that a somewhat peaceful species is available for Pyro, similar to the hoovies and spy crabs. This weapon is a great alternative for people who want to do a little more damage and the ability to destroy people that are underwater or wet and are still able to help out your fellow turtle engineers. Just like the primaries, the melees for the Pyros are quite balanced and suit the needs of the player depending on what you want to do, such as faster movement speeds, critical hits for either burning or wet enemies, and helpfulness towards NG teammates. Like before, the list for the most viable is going to be tricky, with a few exceptions along the way. At number 8 we have the Sharpened Volcano Fragment. While it can be useful in very few spots, overall the stats just don't do anything good for the Pyro, and doesn't combo with any weapon, which is helpful for anyone wanting to do well. Number 7 will be the stock axe. Surprising, right? Well, not when you consider the fact that it does constant damage unlike the Sharpened Volcano Fragment. Nothing special, just straight up consistency. Coming in at number 6 is the Third Degree. While damaging enemies connected to medic beams is a cool feature, this doesn't come in handy very often and the opportunities to use this are very far apart. Number 5 was a tough call and I have to go with the Neon Annihilator. While it does come with the added damage output when in a Pyro's most useless spot, many areas in maps don't come with the luxury of water, and while you can combo with Girardi and Mad Milk, there won't be many willing people to help you to do so. So while the whole removing sappers thing is nice, the original just does it better. And number 4 is the Back Scratcher. Yeah, I know I've harked on about how good doing more damage is, but with the fact that medics and engineers can't heal you as quick, this can harm you more than help you. Go with it if you want, but I thought this is more suited for medieval mode. Number 3 is the HOMEWRECKER. It just has some nice abilities that benefit the defense of your team, especially in modes like Control Points or King of the Hill. Managing to keep the buildings alive so that one engineer's hard work doesn't go to waste helps it reach the number 3 spot. The last two were hard to choose from, but in my opinion I believe the number 2 spot goes to the POWERJACK. Now before you say I'm wrong, let me point out why it's here. While the movement speed and health bonus on kill is nice, the vulnerability you get while it is active is what made me put it here. Keep in mind that the penalty counts towards every type of damage, not just one specific one like explosive damage. This means that my number 1 choice is the Extinguisher. It's just an overall great damage output weapon. While there are too many downsides in my opinion, the one upside it has complements the Pyro class perfectly and can be comboed with so many other weapons. So can the POWERJACK, but I already said why I think it doesn't deserve the top spot of the list. Maybe it's because I like the classics, but the Extinguisher is an awesome weapon regardless of all the nerfs it may have received. But then again, this is just my opinion. Let me know yours in the comments down below. The next class I look at will be solely down to your vote, so vote in the poll above, and that class will have their equipments evaluated. I also created a Steam group a while back, so if you want to go join it, link is in the description. Down there is also my Twitter and Facebook where I post previews and news about upcoming videos and projects for the channel. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel and share this video with all of your TF2 buds. I've been BonOakley and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.